some fun here at Progressive Field. Let's talk some Lakers. They courted Kawhi Leonard hard this offseason. By the time he made his decision, though, the free agent pot was near empty. Courting him. They wanted him. They flirted with him. They dangled a few things in front of him to try to get him.
They don't know what courting is.
Oh, well, that they did.
They tried to slide into his DMs, young folks.
Okay, well,
that's what we're talking about.
Okay.
Trying to make him swipe right instead of swiping left.
They did scoop up a few names out there, and one big name thinks they did a very good job. Yesterday, Magic Johnson tweeted, quote, "Laker Nation, I'm dreaming about the fourth quarter Laker team with LeBron, AD, Danny Green, Avery Bradley, and Kyle Kuzma. That's almost unbeatable." Nick, are the Lakers now the best team in the NBA?
They might be the best team in the NBA, but Magic needs to pump his brakes, okay?
The same Magic that's now no longer with the team?
Yes, the almost unbeatable. There's no team in the league right now that's even close to unbeatable. That's what makes this upcoming season so exciting. That's first of all. Second of all, that is their best five-man lineup. That now that they're going to LeBron at point, that's the lineup I would start. Avery Bradley would be an undersized small forward in name, but he would be guarding the opposing team's point guard. That's your best five. But the reality for the Lakers is this. We can't for a week talk about them gambling on getting Kawhi, not getting Kawhi, and then act like that gamble doesn't have a downside. Take it from me. If you gamble and lose, there's some downside to it. And so for the Lakers, they have a bit of a mismatched roster to a degree. If they start the guys that, if they start the team that I think they actually will start with Boogie instead of Bradley, you're big. You have six guys that are guards coming off the bench with just a couple forwards on your bench. You don't necessarily have elite shooting throughout the game. There are some weaknesses there. The only way the Lakers make the NBA Finals and win a championship is if they have not one, but two MVP candidates at the end of the year. In LeBron and Anthony Davis. You need Anthony Davis, the player he showed you he was the 2 seasons prior to this one, playing 75 games, being the best big man in the NBA, and you need LeBron to be the guy he's shown you he is over the last 15 years. If you get 75% of what you had gotten from LeBron over the last 15 years, you can't win a title. If Anthony Davis is not as good as he was the last time he played a full season, you can't win a title. The other pieces make you eligible for it. Danny Green's a good pickup. Kuzma in year 3, you expect big things from him. But the way the Lakers get in the game is by having not just the best player on the court, but the best 2 players on the court in most games and playoff series.
The mistake the Lakers made when LeBron first got there was, right, they sort of created the wrong type of team around him. He needed shooters. They didn't put shooters around him. Are you happy now that with the team they're putting around both he and AD, these are enough, this is enough shooting, that this is more than enough of what LeBron needs?
In the NBA, you can't have enough shooters. So I do believe they have a better roster than they had last season. But given the limitations, what he pointed out, when you decide to go after Kawhi, it's going to take you 5 days into free agency. The depth of free agency was totally gone, and there was only a select group of players that would fit into the Lakers, and most of them, besides Danny Green, they're not a great fit. Right. Some of them are good fits, and depending on what the attitude of the veteran players, I'm going back to Magic, because I believe right now on paper, the Clippers are a better team. The reason why is because I believe that their roles will be far more defined. Patrick Beverley doesn't have to change how he's going to play. Lou Williams not going to change how he's going to play. All those other players, they've played a lot of minutes together, and Doc Rivers knows how to utilize them. We don't know if Rondo's going to be a starter somewhat throughout the year. We don't know if Boogie Cousins is going to be a starter. And Rob Pelinka and Jenny Buss and LeBron James, they need to get Magic to shut up, because he's not helping the Lakers. Because you know what? Boogie Cousins, if he sees that tweet,
right,
what's he supposed to think? Rondo is a veteran player with a lot of pride. What's he supposed to think? So Magic, he does not know what he's doing in the the disruption to the team and team chemistry. Well, him just sitting there where I was running the team, and now I'm just going to be a part of the team, the most visible, and I'm going to run the team on Twitter.
I fully agree with that, and I want to hone in on the Clippers for a moment, because while I believe the Lakers' top two, LeBron and Anthony Davis, are a better duo than Kawhi and Paul George, the rest of the Clippers roster is superior, and they all know their roles. You have Pat Beverly. He knows he's going to be the starting point guard. You have Lou Williams, who could be a starting shooting guard, but has absolutely excelled in sixth man and going to finish the games. Landry Shamet will probably be their starting shooting guard, but knows he's not the best two on the team. It's Lou Williams. They have two centers that are just Montrezl Harrell, thrilled he's carving out an NBA career for himself, and Zubac, who the Lakers threw away last year, traded away for no reason, just like Mike Muscala, just got $32 million and can't believe his luck. So everyone on the Clippers knows exactly the role they need to be in, and if anyone has a question with it, Doc Rivers is the man to tell them. Compare that to the Lakers, who you know Rondo believes he's still a starting caliber point guard in this league. You have,
and that's okay.
Right.
We want you to have that mentality, but realize my leadership and some of the other things I do are far more important. You might have to end up starting 20 games, but we need an understanding before the season starts with that, Nick.
You have two centers in Boogie and JaVale, who both feel like Boogie over the course of his career, JaVale coming off the best year of his career, I'm a starting center, and their best lineup has neither one of them playing because Anthony Davis be starting at center. You have Quinn Cook, who played all of a sudden, first time in his career, important minutes in the playoff run last year due to the injuries. He comes over to the Lakers. Does he look at the lineup and say, wait, if LeBron's the point guard starting and Rondo's here, am I all of a sudden DNP coach's decision? Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is still looking for that long-term big money deal. Does he think he should be the first guy off the bench? There's all these questions. It's one of the reasons why I liked the under-the-radar Jared Dudley edition, because while, yes, he can play decent defense as far as positionally knock down shots, he knows his role. He's not going to be asking to be a starter, asking for big minutes. But when you have that much unknowns, and then a coaching staff of Vogel, kid may be saying something different, don't know what Lionel Hollins is going to be saying. That's where...
on top of an organization that's not like what you have with the Clippers, that leaks, that talks, that they don't have the infrastructure in the last year that the Clippers have, that is a recipe.
And so that is where the Lakers, where there will be potholes, and that's where there could be pitfalls. And that is why the rising tide that will have to raise the Lakers' boat is a vintage LeBron season. You mentioned he could average a triple-double. I don't know if he'll get there in rebounds, but I totally agree with you on assists. And Anthony Davis being a unanimous first-team All-NBA big man, that's the type of year they need from those two guys.
And that continuing conversation of how much information that the Lakers and what they do is either leaked to the public, told to someone in the media. That's the reason why Kawhi Leonard delayed his meeting with the Lakers in free agency and decided to meet with Paul George on the side. And decided not to go to the Lakers facility, to have it at a hotel. The reason why? Because things like this. Who's running the Lakers? Kawhi and his team, they had a question of that going into free agency that wasn't answered.
And don't forget, there are big personalities on this team. Boogie Cousins, we may not have heard that much about anything that happened last year. You didn't hear that much noise from Rajon Rondo. But someone, if they are not going to start, will have to sit them down and say, hey, you're not starting. I would imagine that's not the conversation you want to have either.
Boogie's been a starter at every place he's ever gone his entire career. We talked about how difficult it was going to be in the playoffs when he came back from the NBA, when he came back from the injury, if he was even able to get on the court, him not being a starter. Steve Kerr knew that, which is why his first game back in the finals, he did give him that courtesy start, and then he played well in that game, but then didn't play well thereafter. I think he had one more halfway decent game. That's a concern, but that is the job of coaching. That is the job of this veteran coaching staff, to convince Boogie and Rondo, be stars in your roles. Carry our second-man unit. Boogie, we can get you spacing. We can run a second-man unit out there of Rondo, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Jared Dudley, and either Cook or Daniels. And you can have real spacing out there where Boogie can dominate the low post, Rondo can orchestrate things with three shooters, and play real minutes.
Boogie could be sixth man of the year in that role.
Absolutely right. And then you can, but will he be okay with it?
Right. He's got to be willing to accept that role and then go out and be good at it. All right, we got to take a break. Coming up, Hall of Famer and Fox MLB analyst John Smoltz will join us live right here at Progressive Field in Cleveland. That's still ahead on First Things First.
Jenna, that's what you do every day.